let's turn back the clock and get right into it. Folks, welcome to the Baseball Brewhaha. We got to turn back the clock today. Adam, what does that even mean? And it conjures some nostalgia.
It sure does. I'm so glad you chose the phrasing turn back the clock. Takes me right back to Tops 90. They had a sort of like an insert thing where they would have a throwback moment typically related to a specific player.
Yep. I remember the Lou Brock one, just like Lou Brock. I don't remember the fact, but that one sticks out to me.
Yeah, the
Distinctly.
one for me is Fred Lynn, the throwback to when he won the MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season, 1975, of course. Well, we're not turning back the clock to 1990 tops. We're turning back the clock to the beginning of what we do now. Now we talk baseball and life. This really began as an elaborate text chain. What do you remember about that?
Well, you bought me a baseball trivia calendar one year, and we would talk with sort of irregularity, I would say, like semi-frequently, but not a ton. And it was like you sent me that thing, and we started texting every day,
Mm-hmm.
just baseball stuff, and it sort of allowed us to kind of reconnect more frequently. And so we started doing that, and we would keep score, and we just have fun with it going back and forth. And then that turned into Adam and I hopping on here and doing a daily show every day for over a year. And then it was like, man, that's a lot. And so now we try to do it once a week if we can. We haven't done trivia in a while. And we had the calendar. And so, Adam, I know you busted out the calendar again. So,
Yeah, this is, and it's one of these page a day with a little trivia question on there.
yeah, there are, and just so you know, there are baseball, obviously, but there are many topics. You can go to Page a Day.
Yeah,
You find like anything. So, well, not anything, but many things.
many things, including baseball. We got a little all-star game trivia here.
Okay.
So we have name the first National League player to hit a home run in the All-Star game.
Okay. Who we got?
Okay. We
Okay.
got Frankie Frisch, Bill Terry, Wally Berger, and Pepper Martin.
There's so few of the like there's some of these that come up and you're just like, dude, I don't know. Dude, I don't know. I have no idea. So um I'm gonna go Frisch.
Okay.
It's Frisch in my mind.
I'm going Bill Terry. And so this is the way, I mean, there was a little strategy to how we would try and do this.
Mm-hmm.
The primary strategy is answer the question correctly if you know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But in a question like this, where perhaps we don't know the answer
Mm-hmm.
top of mind,
Yeah.
we're relying on intuition and uh, maybe a little strategy, like because we're keeping score, right? So if you're like, I think it
Mm-hmm.
might be Frisch because that's coming to mind,
Mm-hmm.
I might go in a different direction, like I did Bill Terry, because I'm guessing 1 out of 4 anyway.
Yeah.
And if I get it right, I get a point
Mm-hmm.
on you, get the advantage. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which it could work the other way too,
it could,
but
but you got to,
it makes it fun too. Just mix it up, get a little different, especially when you just I don't know the answer. I don't know.
yeah, it's not as fun to just like guess the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
So here we go. And what's fun is the answers come with a little information back here,
Woo. Boy,
right? We
here we
got a
go.
lot here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read this whole thing because that's boring. Boring. Okay, 3 innings after Babe Ruth hit the first ever home run in an All-Star game.
Mhm.
Aaron, tell us what year was the first All-Star game?
I want to say it was 33.
That's a fact.
Fact. All right, let's go.
Frankie Frisch batting second behind
Mm,
Pepper Martin took General Crowders. This is the first time I've ever heard of the name General
General
Crowder.
Crowders. General Crowder. Oh, okay, not
The
Crowders. Okay.
pitcher, the pitcher named General Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, drop in the chat. Have you ever heard of General Crowder? And if you have,
Mm-hmm.
share a little context. How do you know General Crowder beyond just what I'm telling you right now
I want to
about?
know. I want to know if you and him used to eat chicken out behind the barn.
Yeah.
I don't.
Um,
I don't expect you know that, but shout out Gramps.
Gramps. Okay. Frankie Frisch took General Crowder's pitch deep to left for another homer. That brought the National League to a 3-2 deficit. They ended up losing 4-2.
Mm,
Frankie Frisch, the any clue on his nickname?
no,
It's alliterative with his name.
the fish
Frankie Frisch, the Fordham Flash.
lost me.
Yeah.
It was too fast. It's too fast.
Hit another home run in the All-Star game in 1934
Okay,
off Lefty Gomez.
a little more household name than General Crowder.
Sure was voted into the Hall of Fame in 1947. So a little turn back the clock for us, a little turn back
Mm,
the clock on All-Star trivia as well.
yeah. Yes. So, well, let's shift gears a little bit here. We got to visit. I visited Adam here recently, and in Seattle, in the flesh. Watched some movies. We had chatted some book recommendations. We watched a movie that was new this year, indie film called Eephus. Now, Eephus is not a traditional movie,
No.
and so, but it communicates in, I don't know, it's just a different way. I feel like when you watch a regular movie, it, I was thinking about this. It kind of tells you almost most movies like what conclusion you're supposed to draw.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this movie did not do that at all.
No.
In kind, it pretty much didn't do it. And I was curious your initial thoughts. And then we also read a book recently that is similar type of lines. But I was curious your initial thoughts on the Eephus.
You're exactly right about movies that are moving you in a certain direction, and that's because they have plots,
Stories.
stories that are clear. Like the movie is
Yeah.
exists for a certain purpose, and this one does as well, but it's not to tell a story in the traditional sense of a movie or even a
Mm-hmm.
documentary that might have sort of like, I want you to reach this
Mm-hmm.
conclusion
Mm-hmm.
by the time I share all this information with you. This one is a you're sort of experiencing it as it's happening
Mm-hmm.
baseball game.
Yeah, not a major league baseball game.
No,
Not a professional game of any sort.
not even close. This is town team baseball,
Yeah.
but not like in the old days where they're
Yeah.
like trying to make their way to the majors. This is like,
It's more like beer league softball-esque,
yeah, yeah,
much more like that.
a
So,
100%. But this
so
movie would have been I feel like it's
Mhm.
so interesting because the movie would have been completely different had it been a softball game.
Mm, okay. In what way? I mean, I can see you saying that, or I can see that, but yeah, I can see that.
Baseball is a different game with a different style and flow and pace. In that, if you zoom way out, they're
Hmm.
very much the same game,
Hmm.
but they are quite different in the nuances of the game. And so, um, but anyway, so that movie, it really it brings you to a place. So once you move past, like it takes a while
Hmm.
to, because you spend a lot of the movie searching for what is happening and why.
Yeah, you're it's like you're waiting for a narrator break
Yeah,
in.
right, exactly. It never happens, but w once you get to the point of letting that go,
Hmm.
then you're able to sort of like drop into the movie
Hmm.
and get to the point of the movie,
Hmm.
which is a very reflective, contemplative one,
Hmm.
thinking about I would say essentially the seasons and or major transitions of life.
Hmm. Yeah. So one, I've been trying to explain to people like with the book, which we'll talk about here in just a moment, and Eephus, like how do you explain it to somebody? And contemplative is 100%. And you had we've talked about before. You said like the action is quite slow. Yeah. So especially if you're like a on the fence baseball fan, like you like it, but you don't like it's going to be a tough watch in some regards. Um, but um, but I feel what I was the way I kind of thought about it is it is quietly loud in what it is communicating.
Mhm.
And so take that for what it is. It's reflective and it'll get you right in there. Get you. So now let's talk. We read a book that's it's not the same story. It's not it's even more it's talking about a football, not baseball, called the Throwback Special. Now, the
Mhm.
Throwback Special is 1985. Joe Theismann's leg is like literally snapped in half on national television, and and this story revolves around kind of this annual ritualistic event with these 22 guys. Um, Again, not a story in not it's not the same way of like when you read it's a novel, but if you're expecting a novel, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. Well, and to set the scene too,
Yeah.
uh, the purpose of these 22 guys getting together
Hmm.
is to reenact
Yes.
this play.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so they all take on different roles.
And they have
And
rules about what roles you can play and like
yep.
all this stuff. So, but it's really interesting, sort of like the there isn't a narrator per se, but in a sense there is, but it's like the narrator knows all of the like all of the things that are happening inside of the people, if that makes sense, like what they're experiencing in that moment, and is then like communicating that out in this, and it's fascinating and hilarious and like
It's a little sad, a little sad.
yeah, yeah, sad in a yeah, sad and kind of a depends on how you look at it. I didn't really
Yeah.
feel like it was like sad.
Not
but
like not
not
like
like
crying because someone, it's not like Old Yeller where someone
no, no,
dies at the end. Sort
no.
of sad in the way um of how much meaning
Hmm.
is in this sort of like has been created around a ritual
Hmm.
that I don't know if celebrates is the right word. Ritual that
Hmm.
commemorates
Hmm.
a tra such a tragic
Yeah, it was like
event.
it ended Joe Theismann's career.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um,
And
yeah,
like
it's
this is like a highlight moment for these people,
hmm yeah,
you know.
it is kind of interesting thinking about some of that through. 'Cause it's another one of those things where I read it through pretty quickly because it just was such a good read.
Yeah.
But like you really have to slow down to kind of like really unpack. And so in one sense, what it is that they're commemorating is in itself sort of a this interesting underlying thing that's hanging out there
Hmm.
in that story. Um, and yeah, it's just it's really fun. I was curious, were there any particular things that stood out to you in that story?
It just came back. I haven't read that book in years, but it came back to me in
Hmm.
so many ways watching Eephus
Hmm.
because it's the same type of story
Hmm.
or lack of story, same type of
Event.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, same type of event
Hmm.
that is centered around ritual, especially male ritual,
Hmm.
and how men come together, why they come together, and how they interact with each other when they are together.
Hmm.
And it just brought all of that back in a fascinating way that encouraged me
Hmm.
at both of those different times when I read the book and then now again when I watched Eephus to think about the ways in which I participate in ritual. And I think about something like this that we do on Zoom every
Hmm.
week. And that is a way that we play out a similar type of ritual. We also, when we get together, I mean, I was thinking
Hmm.
about this when we try and go to a baseball field and we play a game and
Hmm.
we make little rosters with our baseball cards. Like we're commemorating and reliving and
Yeah.
in a way ritualizing something that has meaning for us.
Yeah. 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 It's that's interesting. Um, I hadn't thought a ton about the ritual part of it though. Like some, and yeah, it's interesting that we all have these things that we do, and you were mentioning this kind of like sad in one sense, and then but there's this also this other part of what like I think for men in particular, you get into middle age, it is so easy to become isolated and lonely, and you see bits and pieces of that in that story, and this is a way at least once a year to sort of engage in community. And
Hmm.
so it's kind of it's like it like and yeah, the very end of the book is kind of fascinating to I don't, anyway, I don't know if there's much to spoil, but another guy is like, I'm gonna do this too, kind of a thing. He gets inspired. And yeah, it's really interesting that like and I think about like here I do sandlot baseball for kids. Uh and I haven't done it in a couple of years. I feel kind of embarrassed about it, but I also do sandlot baseball for adults, and it is powerful in kind of an Eephus sort of way, like
Mm-hmm.
in that it brings back memories, it's nostalgic, but there's also this sense of like of play with adults that we just don't do, um, of being in the company of other adults, of having some sort of camaraderie together, um, and that in one sense you could look at it and be like, well, it's silly, it's meaningless, you could spend that time doing something else. But I don't know, there's part of me that feels like in the at least in that kind of like we we as adults need to play and we need to connect with one another,
Mm-hmm.
because left to our own devices we don't do it very well, especially men, on the whole, not every man but many. So
Yeah, and we got a nice dose of that a couple years ago on a brother birthday baseball trip
mm,
to the Chicago area, and we drove out to the Field of Dreams movie site. And if you don't know, you can go
mm,
onto the field and play as long as there's not a game or some other special event happening. And we were able to do that. We
mm,
were unsure what that would be like because the weather was
yeah.
a little bit touch and go. But we got there and you and I just started playing,
Hmm.
and then other people just joined in
Yeah, they
and
took.
they
Yeah,
took swings
yeah,
and they were playing, they were fielding, they were, batting and saying, I haven't swung a bat since I was in 50 years.
yeah.
And
1K,
how,
yeah, 40 or 50 years in that one gentleman's case.
yeah, and how touching of a moment that was
Hmm.
for for him, for
Hmm.
his son, for, you have multiple generations
Hmm.
of uh, people
Yeah.
coming through there, and we got to be part of the play.
Hmm.
And I remember someone asking, "Oh, do you work here?" Like, no, we're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
just playing baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because like if you think like I don't know, there's so many things to that are like kind of there's super fascinating and really like I don't know if weird is the right word, but if you kind of like took it out of the context of which that took place, it is a random thing that just wouldn't happen.
Hmm.
Like you wouldn't go to a park
Yeah.
I mean, so when we were in Seattle, we did go to a park and there was an 11-year-old kid there who we got to play with, and it was super fun. It was very sort of like a mini Field of Dreams kind of moment.
Yeah, and he was
Um,
there. That kid was there with his dad also, so we
yeah,
got to,
yeah,
have that fun
yeah.
interaction too.
Yeah, the thing I told Adam that I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, it's fine. It was what it is, but I was really hoping the dad would like take some hacks and
Yeah.
like anyway, um but if you like you're just not going to show up to a park, a random park. I mean, the fact that this like 11-year-old kid and his dad were there, like this is the first time this has ever happened. And we've been to parks like this summer we played together at a park near Denver. And there were a few people that walked by. Not one of them said, "Hey, can we play?"
Hmm.
or showed any interest, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it just isn't a thing that if you were set up randomly playing baseball in a park, that people are going to walk out and be like, "Hey, can I do that too?" Um, Sometimes, but not really. So the context is kind of interesting. So if you sort of take it out of the context, it is a very like odd
Hmm.
occurrence.
Yeah.
But because of the context and the fact that it has to do with a movie that's like not even a true story, that they like created. I mean, is the whole thing like, but
Yeah, well,
but it's the power of story. And anyway,
and it connects
yes.
in such a genuine way to the movie, because the movie is really all about that too, about
Hmm.
revisiting your childhood,
Hmm.
especially through baseball, and connecting with your past, and how does that connect to your present. And so, I think back to that, to the little speech that James Earl Jones gives
Hmm.
during the movie about how people will sit in the bleachers, and the memories will be so thick they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Hmm.
They'll watch their favorite players play, and it'll be as if they've dipped themselves in magic waters. And that really,
Hmm.
those two sort of phrases from that movie, those
Hmm.
sentences from that speech from James Earl Jones, really capture what our what my experience was
Hmm.
at the Field of Dreams movie site.
Yeah. And and the thing that makes that, as far as those memories and all that kind of thing, is that memories like that do not happen outside of a meaningful relationship. They don't. It's impossible. Like memories where there is no relationship, there's been abuse, there's been hurt, they aren't good memories that you want to revisit.
Hmm.
And so, um, and so you think about these things and these rituals and these kind of like odd, weird movies and like with no story and that kind of thing. The reason why it is meaningful is because of the relationship. The relationship component is like, why do we do weird ritual things? Why do like, I mean, pretty much every one of my friends that I know has some trip that they go on annually, an annual trip of some kind. Why?
Hmm.
Well, do they like the activity? Yeah, probably. Would they do it by themselves? Probably not. Why do they do it? Because they're with people that they care about to some degree. And so it's a fascinating, these things are the movie, the book. I think that relationship and kind of sort of teetering on loneliness sort of themes are ripe throughout that whole thing. And it makes me even thinking about Eephus now, part of the part of that movie is knowing, is you're watching this thing come to a close
Hmm.
and knowing that it's not just this thing, right? Like which of these men is going to slip into loneliness and never be seen again.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things in there. So well, while we were in Seattle, it was imperative that we stop by. I feel like we've gone to a couple different card shops. There's a couple different great places, but I think there's one place that has cemented itself as a place we'll return to. Been there twice now. They got all kinds of different packs, old ones, uh, new ones, obviously. Um, but great place to stop in. What's the name of it again? Card Exchange.
Card exchange.
Shout out Card Exchange. So I thought we should do a little pack rip here,
Let's do it.
and you should do some too. We got, and let's do. Can I just select? Can we do
Yeah.
Bazooka?
Well, you're gonna have to fly solo on the pack rip
Oh, you
tonight.
don't have it. You
I
don't
don't
have it
have it
ready.
right now,
Okay.
but we can, we got next week to come. So what do you
Okay.
have there? You have
Bazooka.
bazooka.
Yeah. So this is a pack that has some cards and literally like not the stick gum, but like a
Yeah.
giant piece of bazooka in here. And at first I was looking, I was like, it's 5 cards. Like, who's buying this? Well, I looked at the original pricing. Bit of sand.
There you go.
It's nothing. nothing.
especially with
Nasty.
that fancy bazooka gum in there.
Yeah, which, okay, how am I gonna?
It's sort of like the back in the old days when the cards were sort of like a throw-in. The feature
Was
was gum or
tobacco.
cigarettes or whatever.
Tobacco.
Yeah,
Which that was old time. So
yeah.
now, the Honus Wagner card gets all the love on that, which there's a fascinating story behind that whole thing as well. Boy, this package, they do not want me to get in here. So I was trying to remember if I've seen any of these cards before. I got the gum. It's still wrapped. Look at that.
Look at that.
30 years old, still wrapped. All right. Yeah, these are interesting. They're nothing crazy, but we got Jeff Montgomery. There's like a game or something on the back. Oh, these are like a game. Endurance, defense. You got an
How about it?
like thing on the back here, like a
Oh,
board.
okay.
Brett Butler and Ozzie Smith, a Hall of Famer. Yeah, I don't feel like I ever remember seeing these cards before. Does that look familiar at all to you?
It does a little bit, but we were not collecting Topps
Yeah, no,
Bazooka.
no. David Justice, Sammy Sosa. Okay. And then, oh yeah, here we go. Basic rules.
For the Bazooka Topps game.
Yeah, yeah. Play ball, basic rules. You're the manager and the player. Following notice. The following rules are merely guidelines to enhance your enjoyment. Any variations you and your opponent may want to include are strictly okay with us.
Excellent. Well, that pack, even that pack of 5 cards in 1995,
Yeah.
that was a great pack.
Oh, for sure.
Ozzie Smith, Dave Justice, Sammy Sosa. You got yourself some players.
Yeah, I mean, and Brett Butler was a good little player.
Mhm.
He wasn't like a Hall of Famer, but good player. Jeff Montgomery, good, solid,
It's all relief pitcher.
solid relief pitcher. So absolutely. So good little pack there. Oh boy. All kinds of colors in here. Little red 40 lake.
Yeah.
Pull it right out of that red 40 lake. Never ending. So anyway, last thoughts?
I love the trip down memory lane, turning back the clock, even doing it with Topps Bazooka here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a fun
So
ride.
fun ride. I would encourage you, go watch Eephus. Just expect something different and read Throwback Special. It's about 220 pages or so. Pretty quick little read. But be prepared. Prepare. Get you right here,
It will.
somewhere in there. So anyway, thanks everybody for hanging with us. See you next time.